What up, community? My name is Sarah, aka Spacebug, and I am making this video as a response to a recent released video by Dr. Grande. I follow him on YouTube because I am very interested in psychology, and he does a pretty decent job on most analyses. He seems to have bias in some situations, and this is one of them. The recent video was about alien abduction. So, I will tell you now, before we get into this, that I am a believer and I am an experiencer of alien abduction. It was a secret, dark secret, like, for the last 28 years. So, no, that's disgustingly obvious of my age. Either way. We didn't talk about it until after my sister passed. My sister had experienced it at the same time I did. We went through it together, I guess. But just so you have the background information, I do believe in alien abduction, and I do believe I've experienced alien abduction. Now, I'm going to make a pointed response to his video chronologically. I made notes as I was watching it. Here we go. The doctor mentions that he thinks, or that most alien abductees do believe in polygraphs and hypnosis. Now, I know, I guess mainly because I've spoken to cops about, I know that polygraphs are really just a method to get people to incriminate themselves. They're not considered actual valid evidence in the court of law, and I think that speaks for itself. I have to believe that the court of law would uphold truth over tricks. So, and hypnosis is obviously influenceable by the person doing the hypnosis. Like, if you're going under hypnosis, it seems to me that it would be obvious you could be led to a direction. I don't think that, I can't generalize and say that all of alien abductees are not informed about this kind of stuff. It seems like pretty obvious shit. Now, Bob Lazar. All the alien abductees believe in Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar's story has been inflated. Sorry. And the inconsistencies within his claims over the decades are obvious. He started with a, like, ooh, look at me kind of energy, and then he seems to lead people away from the questions he can't answer with science talk, really smart things, but they're not actually smart enough to make sense from the position he claims to have held. I'm not saying he wasn't validly in the facility. I'm just saying that he's obviously telling some stories that are bigger than what he really might know or have experienced. He seems to just be inflating stuff significantly. Now, as far as all abductees having a theory about what they're doing while we're there and why, I don't have a solid theory about procedural experiences that they might have done to me, because I don't really have a whole lot of memory from the experiences. Like, I don't have a theory about what they did while I was there. I've never even considered what they were doing to me. I guess it makes me weird or stupid, but I mean, I have one experience where I remember them popping out my eyeball. I remember looking up on the side of my body, that's where the entity was, and this eyeball came out. That's the truth. And I never really questioned why. I guess I could theorize, but I don't know what they're doing to all the people that they're abducting. I can't say for sure I know every single instance of what they're doing or the general theme of what they're doing to everybody. Most people who have experienced it or believe that they've experienced it don't have a lot of solid memory. And if you have a hugely solid memory, then you're lying, in my opinion. I mean, I only know one person who I'm sure has experienced the same thing, and that person's stories are tiny little bits and pieces, just like mine. They're not long-winded explanations about touring a ship. And I just don't believe that that's something people experience in the same situation I was in. Then maybe they had a different experience. Maybe they were with different entities. Something, I don't know. But the things that were taking me out of my home, I don't believe that someone who was taken by the same creatures, whatever, would have solid memory like that. I do have questions or theories about what they might want from humans, and that's a whole fucking bag of worms, so we're gonna just hold off on that for now. The doctor says that people are taken generally from their homes, one at a time, and I wasn't taken one at a time. I was taken with my sister. And I don't really have any inclination that I was examined. Like, examined, no. This was a procedural situation, not an examination. Not like, let me check your heartbeat, let me look at your genitals without gloves. That's crazy. I've never heard any account of an abductee mentioning whether or not they had gloves on. I don't think that's really what's going through your system or your brain when it's happening to you. So I think that that's kind of like a bullshit thing you pulled out of your ass there, doctor. What's the point of making fun of people who are suffering? And whether you believe we're suffering or not, then talk to somebody who thinks that they've experienced it. It's not a joke about fucking gloves. It's a very serious situation. I personally have never had any experience that involved my reproductive organs. I get the idea that, I guess now is a fine time to go into my theory about what they're doing. I think it's possible, not probable. 1 in 100, just like any other theory about what their goal is. It's one of many theories I have, but if these things are time travelers and they were just humans like us, and if you look at the LG whatever community now, we're kind of like degendering ourselves. So at some point, I feel like it seems feasible to say that we lose our ability to reproduce. Or we lose our will and we genetically create ourselves for so long that when we try to actually go back to nature, or when the gene codes have been, maneuvered too many times, not naturally, things start to fall out, and then they have to find a way to save their race, time travel back to when they were still humans that could reproduce. You have an abundance of material to work with. But that's one of those grandiose, crazy theories that the doctor does talk about later on, so maybe I am crazy. Let me just say this also. I would love to find out, without a doubt, that I was crazy. I would love to go to sleep at night with my lights off and have no concern about anything. I would love for you to prove to me that it didn't happen, because motherfucking that would be the greatest gift anybody could ever give me. That would be everything in my life. So I beg you, anybody who can prove to me that it didn't happen, please, please help me, because I live in hell most of the time. I've come to terms with a lot of it, but my life has not been easy because of this truth. So if you can prove it to me that it's not true, I would really like that. I can't even begin to explain the gratitude that I would never be able to express it, but if you can, please, by all means, I would pay any vast amount of money if you can prove to me and it might take me the rest of my life to pay it, but I will. I'll give everything I have. I will be servant eternally if you can prove to me I'm wrong. Back off the tangent. Alright, there's the gloves. Nuclear war or nuclear fallout is kind of a situation that would affect the whole planet and maybe be of interest to entities from other planets, considering we have a nice planet. We're just trying to destroy it. So generally you don't hear about global warming or war so much as you hear about nuclear exchanges. I have the whole Stockholm syndrome about the alien abductions, so I've done a lot of research. And I do know that it's a common occurrence for people who claim to have been abducted to say that they feel special, or the gods picked us or something. I personally don't have that illusion. I feel like if they're taking me, they're taking lots and lots of other people. Like cattle. Not like cattle mutilations, but like we go out into the wilderness and we take lots of specimens to test or whatever we're doing. Why do we do it? Scientific fucking curiosity, I guess. I don't have any illusions about being special or being selected. I feel like it's probably random. Or there's possibilities any other direction, but I've never felt blessed or special or like, ooh, I was abducted by aliens. I'm so great and so wonderful. Never. Never has it crossed my mind. Never. My notes are small. Oh yeah, the only other person I know that has experienced this, definitely did not feel like she was special. She felt like she was forsaken. I know in my personal experience and in hers that this will shake your faith if you do have a religious faith. Like, why would God let something like this happen to you if there's a God? And I believe that there's lots of gods, so don't get me pegged with the atheist, because that's not me. But it will definitely shake your faith if you're young and you experience this. If you think, you know, God's good and he's going to protect you, why is this happening? Okay. All right. So the doctor mentions that all electronic devices are disabled or destroyed during these situations or occurrences. I've never heard that. And if he mentions earlier in the video that people only know they've experienced missing time because they check their watch, and mocks people for saying the aliens can't affect their watch, isn't a watch an electronic device? I mean, pretty sure it is. So wouldn't that have been destroyed or disabled so the time would have changed on the watch anyway? Yeah, you got jokes, but there's the hole in your story. One of your stories or whatever. Okay, now the idea that people are just fabricating the stories. Yeah, I'm sure that there's lots of people fabricating stories. I think it's obvious the difference. But maybe that's because I've experienced it in a level where I can understand it differently than the people on the outside. I think that 99%, well, at least 90% of the people who have genuinely experienced this situation, they will never speak about it. They will never, ever publicly speak about it. The only reason that I've come to the point where I'm willing to speak about it is because my sister, who was affected badly by the experiences, has passed away. And I want to know why. I want to know what. I want to know if I'm crazy. And like I said, prove me I'm crazy. That'd be great. That'd be a gift. I want to know. I want to understand why my life has been inflicted this horrid occurrence. Not like I'm special, but even if I'm just a cattle, why the fuck did it have to happen? Is there some great goal? Is it going to save someone? I mean, if it's going to save a whole race or something, sure. Was there any reason for it other than nothing, I guess? It makes you really look at science differently, the way that we destroy lives without even conceiving that we're destroying lives. But I do believe that most people who experience it will never speak of it, ever. My sister and I didn't speak about it at all. Like, it was an unspoken eye gesture. I mean, maybe we had a couple words here and there, but we were afraid to talk about it because we were afraid if we talked about it, it was going to happen again. And I can literally, truthfully tell you that we didn't speak about it. We knew when we felt like something was going to happen, we would sleep with the lights on, or we'd sleep together instead of in our own rooms. We took steps. Lots of steps. But I may be a little bit paranoid, but I'm not really that paranoid. I'm not worried about if my phone's tapped or if someone's recording my computer shit, because I don't have anything to hide. So the paranoia theory, I'm an incredibly rational and critical thinker. So I don't know if I agree with the statement that people aren't who experience these things. Pretty sure my personality type is INTP or INTJ. They're not irrational people. They're logical, and it's probably a crazy thing for me to believe in personality types, but whatever. The I don't know what kind of reasoning he said it was, and I can't even repeat the word I typed out. But the finding connections where there are none, very possible, because I do definitely experience that. He talks about the people being antisocial or narcissistic. It could be an explanation. I was like in kindergarten when this shit started to happen. Could I have really been an antisocial narcissist when I was in kindergarten? So the psychopathological illnesses, which he did eventually say that there's not a high occurrence of those amongst people who experience abductions or claim to. I certainly don't manifest any symptoms of psychopathological illnesses. The delusion theory, fixed false beliefs maintained despite counter evidence. What counter evidence do you have? Just saying, what counter evidence do you have? Because I'd like to see it. The theory about awareness during sleep paralysis. Where's the physiological evidence that these things even happen during sleep paralysis? And where's your link between the MRIs or the CT scans and the abduction experiencers? I would like to see a case study. That'd be great. How about 5 case studies? Because I'm pretty sure that you need more than one attempt at a experiment before you can claim any type of relevance in like a psychological field. I love reading scholarly psychological articles. I love physiology. I just always liked biology, and so it works. But I would like to see the links. I would like to see a single experiment done where there's some sort of measurement of brain activity during the sleep paralysis awareness and compared to the experience of abduction. Tell me where the parallels are. Tell me, you can show me proof that sleep paralysis manifests symptoms in your brain, chemistry and activity that can be equated to the same during the abduction experience. Let me know when you find that. I'd be really impressed. I would love to believe that it's not possible. It'd be great. So then after the experience of the awareness during sleep paralysis, he's theorizing that all of the information that we take in is influenced by the belief that we're abducted. So any clinical abnormality is overlooked because we're just blaming it on aliens, the anxiety, substance abuse, depression. I don't have anxiety or depression. And substance use may have been a result of fear. My sister overdosed on heroin, and I do believe that her addictions were running from fear. But I think that it seems unlikely, especially in our modern day society where we do have access to the internet and we can self-diagnose everything, that we would blame something like depression or anxiety specifically on alien abduction and not the billions of other things that cause anxiety and depression in our society. But that's just me, I guess. During sleep paralysis awareness is from the doctor's video. We have 25 to 40% of adults experience this. They get pressure on their chest, increased heart rate, feelings of dread or anxiety, floating, spinning, being out of body, hallucinations. And again, I just want to know what are the physiological or pathological explanations or evidence that this would cause these illusions. But I've never had pressure on my chest. I've had sleep paralysis before. I've had awareness during sleep paralysis before. I woke up in a state where my body was protecting me from my dreams, so I can't move. And I've been aware. I've had awareness during sleep paralysis. I know what that is. I completely understand what that is. That's not the abduction phenomena. It's just not. Maybe I'm the only person who's ever had awareness during sleep paralysis. It also claims to have been abducted by aliens. I doubt it. So I don't believe that that's conclusive evidence. And then we cited personality differences. He says people are creative, more creative and paranoid who experience or claim to experience these situations, and that trauma, disassociation, suicidal thoughts, and loneliness are more current in these personality types. Sorry about that. In my personal situation, it's not true. I can be alone for a week, and I probably won't be lonely. Suicidal thoughts, I tried treating like a bad relationship with medication, and they prescribed me Depakote, and I landed in the insane asylum for a week because I was going to kill myself. Other than that, I've never thought about taking action to kill myself. Disassociation, I'm very engaged in my existence, and like I said before, I'm a little paranoid. And then trauma, I mean, what's the explanation for trauma occurring in a personality? I don't know how we would correlate that, but... So then, it's just my phone, it's inactive, it'll be fine. The doctor cites, when she has this experience with the awareness and sleep paralysis, you go online, start looking for the, what's going on, you see the narratives, you start forming a story, blah, 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 blah. I was in kindergarten, I think, when I realized it was happening. Like, I remember my sister and I were in the same grade in kindergarten, and there was like one classroom on either side, and then like an archway in between. And I seen her with headphones on in kindergarten, and I started freaking out about brainwashing, which is insane for a kindergartner to talk about. I don't know where it came from. I'm not saying it's specifically related to the abductions, but I don't know what other weird mind-altering technological systems I might have been experiencing or could have possibly experienced at that age. Kindergarten's pretty young. And I went to kindergarten extra young because my sister failed kindergarten and I had to wait for her to pass it. So I skipped a year after that while she finished kindergarten, and then when she went to first grade, I went to kindergarten. So I was like 4, maybe 5. Either way, I don't think that there was a basis for me to have investigated the internet in 1996, 1995. But, you let me know. Thank you for anybody who's made it this far. It's very close to my heart, this subject, and it really was my lifelong dark secret, and I'm done being ashamed of anything, especially something I had no control over. So I challenge anyone who can prove me wrong to please prove me wrong. I would love that. I would really like that. So talk to you guys next time, and I like this doctor. I like his channel, so I'm gonna still follow him. But I do think that there's some mocking and inconsistent theories and invalid statements on this video. So give it a watch. I'm suggesting you watch it because I would like you to be able to experience the lack of actual pointed data. It seems like it's just generalizations, and I guess that's what you do in psychology, is generalize things. But if we took a more individual approach to psychology, maybe we would be able to help people instead of just throwing them in a group and then treating them wrong. Mental health reform is also a serious matter on my plate in this lifetime. So hopefully this will be enough to open somebody's eyes to say, maybe they're right. Maybe she's right. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's more than what we're trying to explain it as. And I hope someone can explain it. See y'all later. Peace the fuck out.